Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We will get started here in a few minutes. Just let everyone enter the room and we will start our session today. Grab your tea, coffee. Okay, and for everyone joining, you will notice that you have the webinar chat and the Q&A, and that is how you can talk to us during the presentation. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the Q&A. That's for everyone watching to ask questions during the webinar. Feel free to type them in the Q&A section, and we have our two panelists here who will help answer those questions. And then keep an eye on the webinar chat as well. You won't be able to type in questions there, but our panelists will drop in article links, KBs, blogs, all of that. So keep an eye on that just for resources. But any questions, comments, go ahead and add those in the Q&A. And this is being recorded, so anyone that needs to leave early or can't make the session, we will send this out after. Okay, and it looks like we are just at our start time, so I will go ahead and slowly get started here. So as I mentioned, all questions during the webinar go in the Q&A. Keep an eye on the webinar chat just for resources. But we will go ahead and get started with our session today. So we are talking about introducing our newest pop-up builder for MailerLite. So thank you everyone for joining us today. The session will be about an hour or so, and we will get started. Okay, so quick intro. My name is Harmony. If you have joined these sessions, you might recognize me. I'm a customer education specialist here at MailerLite. I work with the knowledge base articles, these webinars, our tutorial videos, everything like that. And I'm just here to help talk about our new builder today. And we're very happy to have Sandali here. She is our MailerLite product owner, and I will let her introduce herself as well.
Thanks, Harmony. So I think you did a pretty good introduction, but just a little bit about myself. So I work with the MailerLite's product team, and I've been with MailerLite for about almost 1 year now. So yeah, I actively work on the builders with the rest of the product and the dev team. So that's me. Thanks, Harmony.
And thank you so much for being here with us. Okay, so just a quick overview of what we'll be talking about today. So in the beginning, I'm going to go over just pop-up basics. So this is just what are pop-up forms, what do they do, what can they do, just so you have an idea of what we're going to be talking about before we get into the builder itself. Because when we go into the builder, that's going to be when we actually look at how to make the pop-up form, how to drag and drop elements, how to create different fields, everything like that. But first, we'll talk about just the basics of pop-ups themselves. Then, like I said, we'll go into the live demo. So Sandali will go into the app and she will show you how the new editor works. And this new editor is available for everyone on all plan levels. So you should be able to see the new editor in the new MailerLite. So we'll go through and you can see how that works. And this is available in your accounts now. So this isn't something that you will see later on. You can go into the app now and see that you have the new pop-up editor already available. So this is just an in-depth view on how it works, what are the features, everything like that. Then at the end, we'll just jump into some best practices. So once you know everything about pop-up basics and how the editor works, we'll just go into some best practices on how to use pop-up forms. Okay. Okay, so let's just start with the absolute basic question. What are pop-up forms? So pop-up forms are essentially sign-up forms. They help bring more people into your mailing list. They're essentially just a window of content that appear over a web page. So if you have a website, blog, anything like that, it could be an e-commerce store, any website with a domain, you can add a pop-up, a MailerLite pop-up to that. And there are many different websites that, have this capability, and I'll talk about that later. But if you have a website, you can add a MailerLite pop-up to that. And of course, if you have a MailerLite website, you can add our pop-ups to those. and they appear when someone usually is scrolling or after a certain time, and they won't be fixed to a certain area. They will just show up. They will literally pop up, and you can design the different layout, and it gives the opportunity for the viewer to enter their email if they want or exit the window if they do not. So pop-ups are used for mainly two things: collecting signups and sharing information. So collecting signups is the main purpose of pop-ups, right? We want to collect the signups, we want to collect email addresses, and more. We'll go into how you can add more fields, but essentially, yes, we want to collect email addresses, names, and any other information. But it's also good to use pop-ups to share information. So in this example, you can see there's the countdown, or you can have a certain sale promotion, or if you want to direct your visitors to a different part of your site, pop-ups are also good for that as well. So it can be used for both ways. We like to say that you can use them for pop-up, for signups, and also for sharing information. Now, these are different from embedded forms. Like I said, with pop-ups, they are not fixed to one location on the page, whereas embedded forms are. So you can see here, this stays here no matter where I scroll on the page, or if I go to a different page, this doesn't pop up with me. It just stays here, and if I scroll to a different area, it does not follow. Whereas a pop-up form, it depends on where I am, where I'm scrolling, or how long I've been on a page. So this is different from embedded forms. Both are available in MailerLite. The pop-up form editor is what has gotten the revamp, and that is what we're talking about today. But this is the main difference between the two. So we're not really going into embedded forms too much here. I just wanted to go into the difference between the two. So, like I mentioned, one of the main differences between pop-ups and embeds is that you can choose the visibility of pop-up forms. So in MailerLite, you can choose settings like, wait 5 seconds, wait 10 seconds, 30 seconds before the pop-up shows on the page. So that's one setting. Or when the user scrolls to a specific part, a specific area in the page itself. That's also an option. Or before closing the page. So again, not fixed to one part, but you have all these different options for when the pop-up shows, as if it's like when after a certain time they're looking at the page, or if it's when they scroll to a different area. And you can also schedule your pop-ups. So whereas embedded forms are always there, they don't show up at different times, they are just fixed to one place, pop-ups can be scheduled. So pop-ups can be activated immediately, and they can be taken down when you deactivate them. Or you can schedule and start at a specific time. So if you have a specific promotion, a specific sale happening in a certain period, you can set the pop-up to start and end at that time. So you don't have to physically enable and disable it or turn it on and off for it to be shown. You can set a specific time or have it activate right when you create it. And also, you can choose to show where the pop-up is on your site. So you may not want the pop-up to just show on every page of your website when the user just goes and clicks on every page. That might be a little too much. So you might just want it on one page, or you might just want it on one specific section or one area of your site. And in MailerLite, you can also configure that as well. Again, different from embedded forms where usually it's just on one page and doesn't follow. You can set your pop-ups to always show, or you can hide or show them on specific pages. And in MailerLite, we have the option by simply listing the URLs that you would like to hide or show, you are able to set these settings. So this is very important, and we will share more information on that in our articles, because we do have KB articles on all of these settings, all of the visibility settings for pop-ups, that get more into how to exactly set everything. But just so you know that you are able to hide and show pop-ups on specific pages on your site. And you can also hide on desktop, mobile, or tablets as well. Okay. And this is when we're going to go ahead and jump into our live demo. I'm also going to add some KB article links into the chat, so look out for those. And we will go ahead and just switch over. Sandali, I will hand the virtual mic over to you, and you can go ahead and share your screen and jump into the demo.
Awesome. Can you see my screen, everybody? Harmony? I guess it's all okay. All right, so let's begin. And I'm going to go into the builder. So I've already navigated into forms. Just going to click on create form.
Second, I don't can.
Mhm.
Oh yes, I can see your screen now. Go ahead.
All right. Cool. So pop-ups, like Harmony mentioned, is what we've actually changed. We haven't really updated the builders on embedded forms or promotions, but we focused on pop-ups. So for today, since Valentine's Day is on around the corner, I decided maybe we'll go with that theme and create like a Valentine's Day exclusive pop-up. So there you go. I'm just going to enter the title, save and continue. And then on the next step, I can select the subscriber groups that I want over here. So whoever who subscribes to through the pop-up will get added to the groups that I select here. I'm gonna click continue. And here you go. So something that you can see as soon as you enter this screen is that there's a variety of templates that you can choose from. So there are some templates from our previous builder that we have sort of adapted and modernized to use with the new builder as well. So you can see a couple of them here. So you can feel free to pick and choose from whatever these templates that are available here. And also just a side note, even if you do pick a template, each and every element within this template is customizable. It'll just open up in the builder itself. So for the purpose of this demo, I won't go into a template, but I will just start from scratch. So if you're feeling a bit more creative, you can choose to start from scratch with a very basic sort of a template that we have. So um, just like our landing page builder and our other builders, everything here can be edited in line. So for Valentine's Day, let's just go with like a title. Let me just quickly edit this. And also, let's say I want to have like a quick description and I want to use like AI suggestions. I can use that feature as well. So I hope you saw that. So you just pick the text that you want to replace by AI. So this is one of our AI features that we have available in our pop-ups builder. You can pick this and you can maybe say that Valentine's Day offer coming up. And I just want to say like, just stay tuned or something like that in the description. So you just feel free to be a bit more creative than I am. So I'm sure you can. And you can also just set the tone to maybe be persuasive because that's what we want. And it's just going to generate a short paragraph that I can edit and insert. So let's just see what AI comes up with. So it's obviously a little bit long, so you definitely need to cut it down a little bit. So let's just cut it down here. So just feel free to add your own touch. AI is just going to be a tool to help you brainstorm and generate some ideas that you could use. All right, so that's one AI feature. I will cover the rest as well. And let me just show you a little bit more around the builder. So here is where you can access the elements that you can drag and drop into the builder. So for example, if you want to add like another image, you can just simply drag and drop that into your builder. If you want to add, let's say like a video, that element is available as well. So right now you can add a video from YouTube or Vimeo, something that's hosted there. I'm just going to delete it for the meantime. And if you want to select an image, you can just pick this and it will take you to the file manager for you to select an image. And also we do have another AI feature, which is the AI image generation. So just feel free to play around with this as well. So if you want to generate something from AI, this is most likely, you might not be able to use it if you're not in an advanced plan. We have some limited credits for growth plan users as well. We used to have, but advanced plan users will have 30 image generation credits per month. So you can just type in an image description. You can choose a style, whatever you prefer. And when you're also typing the description, if you want to use some, if you want the AI to use some certain brand colors in that image, maybe you can specify that as well and just choose a style, an aspect ratio, and just ask the AI to generate an image. So I'm not just going to do that right now, but I'm just letting you know that we do have that feature available in the pop-ups builder as well. All right. And also just something to note in the pop-ups builder, you can just drag and drop along these corners, these borders, and edit the spacing around these elements as well, around each and every element. So to your heart's content, you can just edit all of that. Like I said, I covered the elements. So we do have some interesting elements here as well, like the countdown timer. So if there's a special sale happening and you want to create some sense of urgency, you can use countdowns and you can just adjust like how it looks as well over here. So I'm just going to remove that as well and keep my pop-up very simple. And you might be wondering where you can edit the colors, the backgrounds, and the styles of the pop-up. So that is why we do have this style option here. When you click that, you will see all the different colors, fonts that you can edit. So by default, like if you have set your brand colors on your MailerLite account settings, when you reach this template over here through start from scratch, it will get populated with your brand colors. So that is if you have set the brand colors in your account settings. And either way, you can just edit all of these colors. So since it's Valentine's, I'm going to go with like maybe a pinky color that I have already chosen, but you can just drag and drop and choose different colors as well. If I want to set like a background color, definitely not the same, but like a lighter hue, I can do that. There you go. And I can edit like the heading colors over here. Let's say I'm going to have the same color, or maybe, yep, I'll just go with that one. And also something that I wanted to show was that, okay, give me a second. You can also edit like how the labels and the input looks like. So for example, if you want to change this border color, you can do so here as well. So if you want to increase the border thickness, all that can be played around with. So this is a very comprehensive editor where you can change each and every aspect of the styling when it comes to your pop-up. All right, so I've got the styles covered. We can edit the fonts and all of that as well. There's a selection of fonts that you can pick from. And also on the pop-up, we do have a success view. So that's the view that will appear once the user successfully submits the form. And let me just show you the form settings as well, because you might have questions how we can, for example, add more fields. By default, the email will appear on every form. But if you want to add different fields, you can just simply click on the form and there will be an option to add a field here. So you can pick from whatever the subscriber attributes that you have. And if you have set up any custom fields, that will also appear here. All right, so I'm just gonna have the name here so that the user will have to enter the email and the name. And if you want, you can set to show the labels about the inputs as well. And there are different options that you can add into the form. For example, if you want to include a clause about your privacy policy, you can add that. Confirmation checkboxes, marketing permissions, interest groups, selections, so that they can pick which group they should be added to. And a hidden segmentation field, if you want to set that, is also possible. And also the reCAPTCHA. So with our reCAPTCHA in our Nebula builders, we will not have a big invasive box appearing that says, I'm not a robot, that the user has to click, but it will be more like a silent reCAPTCHA that happens in the background. So let me just show you a quick preview of how that will look like. So like I said, no big checkboxes, but there will be a little sign here that says that it is indeed protected by reCAPTCHA. So all the validation and verification happens in the backend, so that the users won't really have to tick anything and go through selecting different tiles to prove that they're human. Okay, so that's like the different form controls that you have. And obviously you can choose what happens when the user clicks on the CTA to subscribe. Either you direct them to the success view, or if you have like a different URL that you want your users to land on, you can just pick the URL option and add the URL over here. There you go. So I'm just going to leave it at the success view. So just to let you know, like the success view can also be edited like the same way. You can drag and drop things, the elements and everything. All right, and so let's dive a little bit into the pop-up settings and the controls that we have on the right side over here. So we do have 5 different pop-up types that you can select from. So the one that's coming by default is Lightbox. So this is a Lightbox type pop-up. So those are those pop-ups that comes up very prominently. And when that comes up on your screen, the rest of the screen will be like blurred out with like an overlay. So the backdrop style over here, you can select that as well. Like if you want to set like a different color, usually it's like gray, most of the pop-ups that you have seen. But with MailerLite pop-ups, you can also set like a color to the background that appears with the light box. So let's just choose something like that. I'm not the best with colors, so just feel free to be more creative. You can set the opacity over here as well. So there you go. I'm just going to leave it at that. And diving deep a little bit into the pop-up type. So we do have Lightbox. We do have sliding that appears on the corner of the screen that you can pick from. And we do have a half screen type pop-up, which is a little bit big and it'll utilize almost half screen, which is why it's called that. And a full screen one for obvious reasons. And we will also have like a floating pop-up that will stick to either like the top or the bottom of the screen of your choice. You can just configure that as well. So these are the different pop-up types that we support in our builders. Okay, so I'm just going to go with Lightbox. And as you can see, like the settings that you have available will also depend on the type of pop-up that you choose. So let's go with Lightbox, and you can definitely edit the backgrounds. You can add an image as the background, just edit the corners. You can just drag and drop. If you want to like reduce the width, you can do that as well, reduce, increase. And also on pop-up layouts, so you can see that the default layout just comes with a sidebar. This is what we call the sidebar. And you can also not have this left sidebar. And if you want to move that to the right, this is where you do that. And if you don't want a sidebar at all, you can pick this one. And we have also introduced a framed layout, which means that the pop-up's content will sort of get encapsulated within a frame. There you go. And on the frame style, you can just, not have an image if you feel like it. You can just pick a different image, for example, something like this, which goes with Valentine's. And if you're feeling a little bit more creative, you can even you can go to tenor, you can even include some moving GIFs or GIFs or whatever you want to call it. That's also an option. So if you want to have that a little bit more animation-like. And you can just change how that looks like. There you go. If you decide not to have it, that's completely fine as well. I'm just going to go with this image for now. So, right, I'm just going to go with the fit mode. Okay. I've covered the frames pop-up layout as well, and top sidebar, that's also an option. And also we do have a sidebar style. You can have it like the default one like you see right now, or you can pick box, which means again like this will get encapsulated within a box. So that will be available for all the sidebar pop-up layouts over here. So I'm just going to go with our original left sidebar for now. There you go. So you can choose whether you want to like include text in the sidebar, which means you can type text over here. I'm just not going to have that for now. And if you don't want the sidebar to show on mobile, you can just keep this inactive. And if you want this to show on mobile as well, then you can just have this active. So that's how that works. And there's the success form as well. All right, so I covered the form settings, and something new that we have also introduced with our new pop-ups builder is the ability for you to add a teaser to a pop-up. So let me explain to you what a teaser is. So I can just, let me remove that, add over here, pick teaser, and there you go. You will have a teaser over here. So what a teaser is that you might have seen when you visit certain websites that there are those non-invasive little pop-ups that sort of peeks from a side of your screen. And so that's exactly what teasers are. So if you want to be really subtle, you can go for a teaser option. Let me just show you how it works. So if I preview this, you can just quickly see how that works. So this will appear on this corner. I have chosen it to appear on that corner, and we can change that on MailerLite as well. And when the user clicks on that is when the pop-up will open. So you can just set it up in like all different kinds of ways. Like I said, you can change the position that it appears. There you go. And you can choose to always display the teaser, which means that teaser will be the one that displays first. And when you click on the teaser, the pop-up will appear. And when you close the pop-up, it will go back to being a teaser. So that's how always display works. But let's say that you want the pop-up to have more prominence. So you want the pop-up to appear first. And once you close the pop-up, the teaser, the pop-up will go back to being a teaser. So if you want that option, you can just pick this one, just that says that you can show the teaser after closing the pop-up. So how that will work is that first the pop-up will open, and once you close the pop-up, it will go back to being a teaser. All right, so all this information will be available in our knowledge base articles as well. And you can see here that you can change all the styles relating to the teaser here as well. So the borders, the backgrounds, the fonts, all of that can be changed. So if you're feeling like really creative, you can definitely, increase the size of the font so that it's a little bit more noticeable, just have rounded corners. You can choose to add emojis here and just choose the text that you have very creatively so that users will be enticed to click on the teaser. So yeah, that's how the teasers work. So if you change your mind and you do not want to have a teaser, you can just simply click here and remove that as well. Okay, so I think we've covered the pop-up builder pretty much. And here's the styles, elements, all of that. I'm gonna click done editing so we can move on to something more exciting that we also have. And this is what Harmony showed before. These are the triggers, like you can configure when you want to show the pop-up, frequencies, schedules, all of that. So I'm just going to click Save Changes for now. This is the JavaScript tracking snippet that you can insert to your website. All right, so yeah, you have to enable the pop-up for the pop-up to start displaying, and the double opt-in will be enabled by default. All right, so let me go into spin the wheel. So spin the wheel is something that we do have as a template. So let's say spin pop-up. I'm going to save and continue. Pick the groups. Okay, so you can see that we have 4 spin the wheel promotion pop-ups that you can choose from, spin the wheel pop-up layouts. So if you want to use spin the wheel, you can't actually drag and drop that as an element. You'll have to go with either one of these 4 templates. So for this demo purpose, I will go with like the most default template that we have. This one, I'm just going to pick that and just wait for it to load. All right. There you go. So this is pretty much the same builder. Nothing has changed except like a few additional controls that we have for you to configure this wheel in any way that you like. So let me quickly go through that. Just like I said, the same builder, you can style it the way you want. You can add different elements by just, dragging and dropping. All of that is possible. Changing the spacing, everything is pretty much the same, no difference. But let me show you how you can configure these slices on the wheel. So usually spin the wheel is used to gamify the experience if you want to keep things a little bit more interesting. So this will sort of reward the users at the end when they spin the wheel. And how our pop-ups are set up, our spin the wheel pop-ups are set up is that if they want to spin the wheel, they won't have any other option but to enter their email, whatever you specify on the form, and click the CTA to spin. And that is when the wheel will spin and the spinner will land on a winning slice or a losing slice. That's, really up to their luck. So let me click on the wheel. So when you click on the wheel, you will see all of these different settings that you can configure. So you can see that by default, we do have a few slices set up already. So you can just click on each and every one of them and just edit the display label. Let's just say 50% off. You can enter emojis and just be creative here, and your discount code. So this is what they will use when they're checking out to get the perk, basically a discount from your goods or whatever you are selling. So you can enter your codes. I'm just going to enter something random. So you can have a maximum up to 8 slices right now and a minimum of 4 if I'm not wrong. So I'm just going to have like, let's say 6 right now for demonstration purposes. So if I don't want it, I'm just going to remove them. So we have about 6, and we have to have a code in each one of them. So I'm going to enter my codes, just some. There you go. And you can see that there are two slices where I didn't enter the code. So those are the ones that I have specified as a losing slice, which means that if the user lands on either one of these slides, they will not get a coupon code. It'll be like, no luck or spin again. So you can just adjust the probability of these things as well. So if you want users to pretty much have a very low probability of losing, then you can even set these to 0 as well. There you go. You can adjust the probability of pretty much anything, and this total sum here will always add up to 100%. So you can just adjust the probability of each of these slices by dragging and dropping. So that's how that works. And also, I'll just quickly show you how you can just edit the design of the wheel. So if you click on the design tab, you can pick how many colors you want the wheel to have. You can edit like all these colors in any way that you like. So again, not a pretty color, but just please be creative here. You can just adjust the text colors. And if you want to set like a different color just for the losing slice or the slices, you can do so here as well. So again, the border colors, all of that can be set, the pointer sizes, the pointer color, the center color. If you want to have like a logo over here, you can just pick your logo from the file manager if you want to, or just insert any kind of a random image. But yeah, so this is how the spin wheel can be configured. And if you go into the success view, this is what will appear to the users who win a coupon code. So this placeholder will get replaced with whatever the code that the user lands on if they're lucky. So there you go. If I want to edit how this looks like, you can just simply click on its settings. You can adjust the font size, colors, border sizes, the style of the border, the colors, and all of that can be edited over here. And just like I said, even in the pop-up success views, even in the losing view, which appears to the user if they land on a losing slice, you can configure how this looks like. You can drag and drop any elements. You can change the styling. All of that is possible. Okay, so let me just preview and just show you how this one works as well. I'm not sure if I'm already registered. So if I spin to win, it will start spinning. All right, there you go. I got lucky and I landed on a mystery prize. So there's a quick copy feature that you can use as well. But also at the same time, in case the users forget to copy this coupon code, we have an option for you to send an email with the coupon code that the user won if they have won from the spin. So when you go to the next step on a spin the wheel template, you'll be able to see this where you can configure how the winning coupon email looks like. So if you go into edit content, it'll just take you to our email builder with our default template that we have for the coupon code win. And you can edit the text here, just the look and feel of all of this can be edited. And what you see here will be replaced with the coupon code that the user won. So this will get sent if and only if they won the slice. If they lost the slide, they won't really receive an email, but their email will definitely get added to the group as you have specified. So you can, if you don't want to send a winning email at all, you can just switch that off as well. That's not gonna be a problem. I think I pretty much covered everything. And we also have an option to allow multiple spins. So if you want the users with the same email registering and spinning it multiple times, you can simply enable this option. But if you don't, you can just have it just for one spin. So that's how this works. And even for spin the wheel pop-ups, you can add a teaser. So it will work like pretty much the same way. If you have a teaser and you have set the teaser to appear first, it'll just appear and you can open the pop-up from that. So that's how teasers, spin the wheels, and our new pop-up builder works. And also something that you can play around with is these different wheel layouts that we do have. Yeah, so feel free to just explore and experiment and just let us know what you think and what other features you would love to have. All right, I think I pretty much covered everything. Do we have any questions? How many did I miss anything?
No, thank you so much. Oh, and my audio's on? Yes, it is. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. No, that was great. We do have a couple questions. I think we'll save most of them for the end, and I'll switch over to my screen. One question I do want to address is about previewing and editing in the mobile view, because I see a few questions about that. I can answer that as well if you want to expand on it. You can preview the mobile view of your pop-up, but you cannot edit the mobile view, if that makes sense.
Yep. Right now that you cannot really edit the mobile view, but we are working on those features, especially for our other builders like landing page builder. But there are some elements that you can choose to show on mobile or not. For example, the sidebar. But other than that, you can preview, but you can't really edit how it specifically looks like on the mobile at the moment.
Mhm. Yeah, so the best way is just to use that preview or to just look
Yeah.
to test it as well when it's activated. Okay, so as far as the rest of the questions, we will go ahead and save. Well, let me see if there's anything I can just um, yes, I just to see a few of the mobile views. So we can save some questions for the end when we have our Q&A section, and then I will just go ahead and jump into best practices for the last section here because it looks like there's a few questions left, but we can save those for the end. Okay. Okay, so now that we know how the editor works, how to build our pop-ups, what pop-ups are, how we're using them, I'm going to go over some best practices or just what you can do once you have a pop-up, once it's created, once you've built it, you've activated it, what can you use a pop-up for and what can you do with it? So of course, the first thing you want to do is add it to your website. And this is going to be different depending on what you are using. So it will work with the JavaScript code. And you saw when we exited the editor and we saved, this is what we saw. You're able to just copy and paste it. Again, it will be different depending on what your website uses. So you will need to see how to add JavaScript into your site builder. Or if you are using any of our integrations, for example, WooCommerce, WooPress, WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace, or PrestaShop, for example, a lot of the e-commerce, if you have those integrations already set with MailerLite, that allows you to add pop-ups very easily. You do not need to add the JavaScript code with those. You simply need to just create the pop-up in MailerLite, activate it, and then based on the visibility settings, it will show up on the site. Again, that is only with those integrations. Otherwise, you do have to add the JavaScript code, and that is going to be different depending on what you are using to build your site. But that is essentially how you get the pop-up to appear on your individual site. And again, when it comes to our integrations, these are the ones that I mentioned: Shopify, WordPress, WooCommerce, Squarespace, PrestaShop, mostly the e-commerce. And it will look different for each integration, but in the settings of the integration itself, so not in MailerLite, but the integration, so in WordPress and WooCommerce, you will see a setting like this, MailerLite pop-ups, and it will give you the option to enable or disable. Again, this looks different for each integration. This is just an example of what this looks like in PrestaShop. But that is one thing to do if you are using these integrations. You have to enable it once in the integration and then make sure that it's also turned on in MailerLite itself. The pop-up is enabled. If that is done, then it just appears without having to manually add the code. Okay. And of course, one of the main things to do when you receive the signups is sending a follow-up email. And it's very easy with MailerLite to send a email using a welcome automation. You can add the info, discount, or any resources that were promised in the pop-up itself. You can add an intro to your business because essentially if you're thinking that these are new visitors, these are new people that are looking at your site and signing up to your list, they will most likely not know about your business or be introduced to it. So this is a good chance to send a welcome email. And it's very simple to either trigger an email based on the group they're added to when they sign up to the form, or just if they sign up to the form itself. You can trigger an email based on either the form or the group for something like this. And this is also what you want to do. I did see a question about adding like attachments, PDFs, or like a freebie resource, anything like that. Usually that is what pop-ups are used for, to use to get that lead generation and to have a PDF or something to share. So that is where you want to send the follow-up email because you won't be able to attach anything into the form itself. But in the follow-up email, you can include a shareable link to Google Drive, Dropbox, or anything where you can share, you have your link stored, your PDF stored. That's what we typically recommend as far as when people sign up and then the email sends, and that is how they receive their resource that they signed up for. And of course, you can also not stop at one email. You can create an entire nurture sequence with MailerLite. This can be used for many different things, from promoting e-commerce products to sending targeted campaigns. Once you have the pop-up running, you'll be collecting signups, and you can either send your welcome email, but also then use the fact that you are collecting signups to segment your audience and also to create automations that nurture that audience. So promoting other products, introducing them to your brand. If it's a course, leading them to specific things that you want them to check out, everything like that. And of course, you want to use this as a chance to segment and or group your subscribers. When you create a pop-up form, you do need to select a group that the subscribers will be added to if they sign up. You can also select multiple groups, which I will go into. But that helps just to segment your subscribers, create a smaller list of who used that form to sign up. And it also helps you to send automations if you are basing it on the groups that they join. You can have multiple forms leading to the same group, leading to the same automation, for example. Or if you want to just have one group for one form and keep it simple, you can do that as well. Like I mentioned, you do have the option to add multiple groups. So if you just want to do simple, add one group, they sign up, they're added to that group, that's possible. If you add multiple groups, you have the option to add interest groups. Now this is available for both pop-up and embedded forms. So what I'm showing here is actually the editor for embedded forms. So that's why it looks slightly different, but this is available for both, and this is what it looks like. So interest groups. And that allows the subscriber themselves to choose which group they want to be added into. And they don't need to see the name of the group itself. You can edit if you don't want them to see the name of your group that you have in MailerLite. You can choose what is shown there. But you do have the option to use forms as a way to segment. So if you want to even take subscribers that are already in your list and have them see the pop-up just to segment and have them added to other areas, other lists, you can do that as well. You can also use a countdown timer. So we do have a few different templates that use this. These are great for promotions, for sales, even just if you have an announcement and you have something that's going to be like a site maintenance, something like that, that is going to last a certain time, you can use a pop-up. I mean, you can use countdown timer. So these are really great for many different things. They can be added and very dynamic. You can edit, you can customize the colors, of course, the time, the countdown, everything like that. So we do recommend using countdown timers as a way to promote or as a way to create urgency, as a way to get your pop-up noticed. And I encourage you to also explore promotional pop-ups. This is for advanced plans only. Promotional pop-ups are just for sharing information. So these are not sign-up forms. There's no option to add a field, a custom field for anyone to sign up or anything. This is if you want to just direct people to a different part of your site, or if you want to just show a banner for something, if you want to make an announcement, anything like that. So this is something that you can use for your website as well. It works the same way as regular pop-ups, except for the fact that there's no option for signups. It is a different function. And lastly, I will just discuss A/B testing. I did see there was a question about this. So A/B testing is available in many different areas of MailerLite. You can A/B test campaigns, automations, forms. And what is A/B testing? A/B testing is sending different versions of either the form, the campaign, the automation, and seeing which one generates the most engagement. And then based on that, you can make decisions as to what you want to keep. So if you send a campaign, for example, you can send different subject lines. In the case with forms, you have the option to, once you create a form, once you create your first form, you will see the option to create a split test. And once you choose to do that, this is available for pop-ups. That's what I'm showing here. It's also available, again, for campaigns and automations, but we're just talking about pop-ups here. You have the option to create the new version totally from scratch or to create it from the original pop-up. And the point of this is, again, to test what is more attractive to your site visitors, what creates the most engagement. And that could be different things. It could be a conversion, it could be which design creates the most clicks to a link, or it could be what generates the most signups, anything like that. So this is a great way to just test different things. If you want to also test different visibility settings as well. So maybe you have similar forms, but you want to see if showing it later converts more than showing it right away. That also is an option as well. You can just use different versions to test what works for people visiting your site, your brand, everything. So we highly recommend this. Okay, and that is basically it as far as information, as far as pop-ups. This is our chance to go over some of the questions in the Q&A and just to share some more resources. I will add some resources that I was talking about, and I will also just have a look at some of these questions here. So give me 1 second here. Okay, so I do see one question, interesting one about the spin the wheel. And Sonali, I think this one would be for you. Can we set the spinner, like each slices to have each section be a winner?
So I think this is a really interesting suggestion. So what you can do right now as a workaround is that you need to have at least one losing slice, but you can have the probability of the losing slice set to 0 if you don't want anybody to lose. But this is probably a good feature that we can potentially add to our spin the wheel. But that's the workaround. Just set the probability to a 0 on a losing slice. So that way you can actually work around that.
Great, thank you. And I'm adding in some links for the integrations that I was talking about. So I just added in the one for WooCommerce. I will add in the rest as well. These are the where I mentioned it's easier to add pop-ups if you have the integrations already. Someone asked, can you use pop-up forms in Classic? You can use pop-up forms in Classic, but the new editor, what we are discussing is in the new version of MailerLite, so that you won't see the new editor in the Classic. You only see it here. I did see another good question. This one, also, I think, yes, Sindali, this one you might be able to answer as well. Is there a way to remove the teaser if someone's already subscribed? So I think this also applies to just if someone is already subscribed, how do these pop-ups work?
Yeah, so you can't really remove it entirely, but something that you can do with the teasers is that you can set the teaser to basically show. There's a setting. Just let me quickly check on that with the teasers that you can set the teaser to appear before displaying the pop-up. Yeah, so we do have an option for to show the teaser before displaying the pop-up, which means that the teaser will appear first, non-invasive, and when you click on that, the pop-up will open and the user can choose to subscribe, whatever, and they click the CTA and the teaser will not appear. So that setting you can configure on the teaser itself. So if you go to the teaser view, like one of the first things that you'll see on the top right corner would be to show the teaser, and you can pick before displaying the pop-up from the options that's available. And that might be a workaround, but you can't really track if that user actually subscribed or not. But one thing that you can do is that just show the teaser before the pop-up gets displayed. So once they click on the teaser, the pop-up gets displayed and they close it or subscribe on it, then the teaser will not display to them again. So that's the option that you would have.
Thank you. I'm just looking at other questions here. Oh, I did see one. This is more about the visibility settings. What is the max number you can put in the wait seconds? So that is referring to show after this amount of seconds when they're on the page. Do we have a max number of seconds there?
I'm not actually sure. We'll have to check on that.
I will need
Uh,
to check on that yeah, I don't believe I know off the top of my head.
yeah, same here.
Max seconds. Okay, just questions. I saw about the mobile view question. Um,
We have one, I think, can the teaser be closed without opening the pop-up? So another good question. So on the teaser, you will have an option to either show the close button on the teaser or not. So when you actually go into the teaser view, you can see a section about close button towards the right-hand side. And there you can choose not to have the close button. So if you don't have the close button, that means the users won't be able to close the teaser. But if you do have the close button visible, that means they can click on it and close the teaser. So that's an option you can give them.
Perfect, thank you. I'm just adding in those last integration links here. So now I've added everything into the chat for integrations that easily will add pop-ups as well. So WooCommerce, WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace, PrestaShop. I will send all of these links. So when we send our follow-up email to everyone who registered for this webinar, we will send all of these KB article links and we will send this recording as well. So if you don't get a chance to save everything, you don't need to. It's more just if you're curious about something specific, I'm adding these into the chat. I also talked about adding multiple groups and creating interest groups based on that. Our article for that is right there. Let me just go ahead and look at the chat. We have a couple minutes left. The rest of this session the last few minutes will just be us answering questions. Let me go ahead and just share these resources as well for anyone that does not have any questions and just wants to go ahead and start exploring on their own. But let me see if there's any questions that we can get to at the moment. Is there a function that triggers a pop-up after a certain period of user inactivity on the website? My answer would be not specifically that, but it would be the show after X amount of seconds that they're on the page. I believe it's not right. That's
Yeah, we do have what you mentioned as well, and also another option to show the pop-up just before closing the page, and that wouldn't work on mobile. But I think that works in a way that when the user navigates to the close button and they try to close the page, then the pop-up opens. But specifically for inactivity, we don't have a trigger.
Mm. Someone did ask a question. I'm not sure I fully understand, but I do want to address part of it. Someone said, can I use this? They mean the editor, but copy a design from Canva or Figma, then assign to part of the image, the button function. I'm guessing they mean just working with Canva or Figma. Can they create the majority of their design there, but also be using our editor? And I can answer partly this. I would say yes and no. As far as bringing over images from Canva, that's very simple. Images from Figma, if you have them in your file manager, any design or downloads image-wise from Figma or Canva can easily be brought into your pop-up. But as far as the overall design of the pop-up, I don't believe you can. I mean, you probably can with maybe some coding, but just simply through MailerLite, I don't believe that's something other than bringing images over. Okay. Okay, I'll let any last questions come in. Anything we're not answering is something maybe we've already answered or something that we won't be able to address in this session. For anything, there's of course lots of information here. So we have lots of resources. If you're still curious, if you want to dive more in depth into anything we talked about, I shared lots of KB articles, but if you want to just have a look yourself, I'm adding in the knowledge base here. We also have an entire library of video tutorials if you're more of a visual learner. We do have our experts option. I always like to share if you want to have some help with anything MailerLite related. If you want to just talk to other MailerLite users, we have an entire community for that. It's like a Facebook group. It's not on Facebook, but it's similar to that, open forum. We also have admins in there to help answer questions. Highly recommend. We also announce a lot of our webinar things in there. If you really want to get into some in-depth learning, check out our MailerLite Academy. We have lots of free courses there, everything from getting started with the platform to more in-depth automations, things like that. We also have some courses in the works, so check that out. And of course, if you need to talk to someone, we have customer support. I put the contact us there because that's available just if you need to get in touch for and like just send an email. For anyone on the the free trial or advanced plans, you do have access to the live chat as well for customer support. And that is basically it for today. I don't think there are any other pressing questions that we are able to address right now. Someone said I can't copy the links from the chat. Sorry about that. You should be able to. Either way, these will all be sent after in the follow-up email, so no worries there. Okay, I think we have answered everything. And the few questions that I'm seeing that are left, please check out our resources for things like A/B testing, um, we have the article, How to Create a Pop-up Form, which goes over everything that we talked about pretty much in this session, from visibility settings to how to use the editor, what the elements are, how to, drag and drop everything, how to use the success page, double opt-in. That is the main article. That one is at the very top of the chat. I shared in the very beginning. Highly recommend to look at that. Also the tutorial. And that is it. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you panelists for answering 61 questions. Very much appreciate you. And thank you, of course, Sanali, for being here, for showing us the demo, for being available, and for just, giving us a easy to understand demo today. Appreciate everything.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Of course. Okay. I will quickly just add in our page if you want to see where we have our webinars. Okay, that's all our upcoming webinars and past ones as well. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a great evening, day, night, and we will see you in the next session. Bye.
Bye.